going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. We are taking a short break from our off-season series where we're grading all 32 NFL off-seasons, and we are going to dip a toe into the fantasy football world. Now, for those of you who don't know us, all of us are big into fantasy football. I mean, we've had the same fantasy football league going for about 15 years, along with several other ones, and we've done fantasy football content. We do it during the season as well when we get Sage's Sleepers, and there will be even more fantasy football content this upcoming season. But today, I want to tell you guys how the perfect first round goes in your fantasy football drafts, in my opinion. These are how I am picking at every single slot. So at pick 1, I'm taking this guy. Okay, at pick 2, that guy's not there, I'm taking this guy. And all the way down. And I do also have a couple of honorable mentions I want to mention in this video too. So I'm going to give you guys my top 10 players. I'm going to go from 10 to 1, but I'm going to start the honorable mentions. There's 4 guys I have here that I want to talk about. That these are players I would be willing to consider at pick 10. Am I going to take them at pick 10? Probably not, but maybe I'd consider them. These are all guys I would consider in the top 10 for sure. And if you are a 12-team league, a 14-team league, these are guys that should go early. Now, I'm doing this based on a 10-team PPR style format, okay? So without further ado, let's talk about these honorable mentions. And I'm going to start first with second-year receiver out of LSU, Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to start with a stat for you guys. And think about this, the number 3. That is the number of wide receivers selected before Brian Thomas Jr. in the first round of the 2024 draft. And it is also the exact same number of wide receivers who outscored him in fantasy football last year. Only 3. He was the 4th highest scoring wide receiver in the NFL last year in fantasy football in PPR format. That is crazy. Top 5 among all receivers in yards and touchdowns, despite ranking 29th in routes and 19th in targets. I think his volume is going to increase. I really do, especially second year in the system, another year with Trevor Lawrence. And when you look at it, 6 of his 10-plus target games came with backup quarterback Mac Jones, in which case he averaged 23 fantasy points a game in those weeks, but he didn't have any games like that with Trevor Lawrence. So another year of connection with Trevor Lawrence, where now he's the guy who's been there the longest. There's no Gabe Davis, which is a blessing. There's no Christian Kirk. There's no Evan Ingram. The continuity here is Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. I think Travis Hunter being there as a wide receiver will just take pressure off of him. Oh, he's going to steal targets. No, I'm not worried about him stealing targets. I'm more worried about him stealing focus of the defense, which is awesome for Brian Thomas Jr. I just don't see him taking a step back. I just don't see it. His rookie year, he was so good, and that's with a guy like Mac Jones just throwing it up to him. Now Trevor Lawrence has seen that, and you've seen just how good he is, and then you add in the fact that this is now Liam Cohen's scheme that was very generous to Tampa Bay's wide receivers. This guy could be a wide receiver 1 for your team. This guy could be a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy football this year, and it would not shock me even a little bit. Next guy I want to talk about here, another wide receiver. I want to talk about Nico Collins, Houston Texans. Just look at what he did in 2023. I know 2 years ago. In 2024, it wasn't a bad season, by the way, but it was just short for him. But 2023, 80 catches, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns in 15 games. And then last year, 68 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 7 touchdowns, but only 12 games. When he played on a per-game basis, just fantasy wide receiver on a per-game basis, he was top 10. Top 10 in every game that he played. Now, the missed games are a concern because he's missed at least 2 games in every single season of his career. But when he is out there playing, the guy is awesome. And you look at Houston's offense, no Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell probably not going to play. It's Nico Collins and a bunch of young guys. It's Nico Collins, and I want to say they got Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, right? They got 2 guys from Iowa State, but I don't expect them to really steal a whole lot of targets here. I am concerned about the offensive line of Houston. I don't know how long Nico Collins is going to have to run his routes. Now, will that affect his downfield ability? Maybe. But Nico Collins has the most chemistry with C.J. Stroud of any other pass catcher on that team. And they're going to have to throw the ball because they're not going to be able to run the ball behind that offensive line. It's going to be difficult to run behind that offensive line. I think Nico Collins surpasses his 2023 season. I think he goes for closer to 1,400 yards this year. I think he eclipses 10 touchdowns and ends up close to 100 yards receiving. I think he's one of the best receivers in the NFL this season, and he's probably worth going in the first round of most drafts, if not very early second. Next, in the honorable mention category here, I've got Christian McCaffrey. At feels disrespectful to have him in the second round, especially when you just look at how insane he was in 2023. I mean, pretty much single-handedly won me the championship that year. But me having him in the second round, give me a little slack here, right? He hurt both of his Achilles tendons last year, both of them. And then he came back, and when he played those 3 games, he only played 3 games, and when he played in those games, he was not himself. He only averaged 13 fantasy points per game, and he was getting all of the touches still, too. He was still playing 88% of the snaps and getting about 19 touches a game. Only 13 fantasy points per game, though. That's a little concerning for me. Has he hit that wall? He's 29. He's hurt both of his Achilles tendon in the last year. It's a concern for me. I'm a little bit scared, and scared money don't make money. I understand, and Christian McCaffrey in the second round could win you your league. Or it could be a player that plays a very diminished role in a San Francisco offense and just isn't the guy anymore. It's tough to come back from that. I hope to God he does, because he's so fun to watch and he's such a talented football player. But you'd be foolish to not be concerned. And to take him in the first round feels like a huge risk, such a risk. I don't know if I'm taking that. Last honorable mention I want to talk about here, and this is a guy that if I was doing 11 picks, this is pick number 11 for me. I'm talking about LSU wide receiver, second year, Malik Nabers for the New York Giants. Unbelievable season last year with probably the worst quarterback room in the entire NFL. He's only going to get better. And even last year, he had a 35% target share, which gives him a really high floor, especially in a PPR. He's going to get about 10 targets a game. He's just going to. And then you look at the quarterback room this year, it's pretty clear that Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston is better than the combination of whoever they had in there last year. Tommy DeVito, Tim Boyle was there, Daniel Jones for a while. I mean, it was awful, just straight up awful. I'll take any of the 3 quarterbacks on the roster this year over any of the quarterbacks last year, and Nabers still had a really good season. And what have the Giants added to really take away from his targets? I couldn't tell you. Not a whole lot. So I expect Malik Nabers to be awesome this year. He's a wide receiver 1. He's not the wide receiver 1, but if Russ / Dart / Winston are cooking even a little bit, they're going to cook through Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers is going to be the guy for that offense. So I think he's worth taking a swing on late first, early second. I've got him at 11 here. Getting into our top 10 guys, and this one surprises me a little bit, but not really, because I was also really high on Bijan Robinson when he was a rookie. I'm going to Ashton Jeanty. Rookie cracks the first round. I mean, especially when you're doing a league like this where it's a 10-team PPR league and you got the snake-style draft. I love taking Jeanty in this spot knowing, okay, I can hit running back here, wide receiver next. Like, Ashton Jeanty and Malik Nabers back-to-back is a fantastic foundation to build your fantasy team around. The guy was just unbelievable in college. He's going to a coach in Pete Carroll that loves to run the football within an offense that is extremely limited when it comes to weapons. It's going to be Ashton Jeanty and it's going to be Brock Bowers. That's all you got. That's all you have. You have nothing else there. You can lock in 300 to 350 touches for Ashton Jeanty this year. I think that is an absolute lock. All that they have going for them, and sorry to everyone else on the Raiders roster, it's Ashton Jeanty and it's Brock Bowers. And I'm taking a shot on Ashton Jeanty. He's a good pass catcher, excellent vision in the running game, super elusive, very hard to bring down. The guy's a stud. He's an absolute stud, and Pete Carroll is so excited to get him. You could tell in press conferences, you could tell in the videos on the draft, the big smile he lit up in when they realized that he was available for them at 6, when the Cleveland Browns selected Mason Graham. You could tell Pete Carroll was like, we did it. We got our guy. That was the face of a coach that's like, there's my offense. I'll take it. I'll take that piece. I'll take Ashton Jeanty at pick 10. Thank you very much. Pick number 9, I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown is who I would take here. Even with Ben Johnson leaving, I still expect the Lions' main guys to produce at a super high level. And I expect Amon-Ra St. Brown to produce at a high level because look at 2021 and 2022 when the Lions were a bad team. This was before Ben Johnson was him and before their offense was really any good. He was still great. He still was a fantastic wide receiver. And then he's just played at an elite level the last 2 seasons. He still has Jared Goff at quarterback. He's still going to have a great running game, and there's a great offensive line. He's still going to be dominant. I mean, this guy is tied for the most receptions in the NFL since he came into the league. Since the 2021 season, it's him and Tyreek Hill. They are tied for the most receptions in the NFL. And in a PPR league, receptions are a wonderful thing, my friends. Absolutely wonderful. He's got 3 straight seasons with 100-plus receptions. I don't expect that to change here even a little bit. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown deserves to firmly be in the first round here, and I think at 9, that's a bit of a steal. Pick number 8, I've got Miami Dolphins running back De'Von Achane. Now, this is probably a little earlier than most people have, and you're all going to start screaming, oh, Homer, Homer. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. 1,500 yards last year with backup quarterbacks playing a significant portion of the season. And he was also trying to run behind the worst guard tandem in the NFL. The 2 worst guards graded in the NFL started for the Dolphins' offensive line last year. How do you expect to run behind that? And he did just fine. 1,500 total yards and 12 touchdowns with that supporting cast, with an awful offensive line, with backup quarterback play where the opposing team knew, oh, they're not going to throw the ball. Tyler Huntley's not going to throw the ball. Tim Boyle's not going to throw the ball. Skylar Thompson's not going to throw the ball. It was just, we're going to stop the run. And even so, he played very, very well. And then you look at what the Dolphins did this offseason. They have significantly improved the offensive line, in my opinion, at least within the middle 3. The interior offensive line is leaps and bounds better than what it was last year. And guess what? Today, Tua's healthy. Please stay on the field. For the love of God, stay on the field. And Tua dumping it off to De'Von Achane, who had 78 receptions last year, by the way, led the NFL for running back receptions last year, to go along with his home run speed. And when you've got having to drop safeties deep because you've got Waddle and Hill, I think he could blow up. I think Achane could have a fantastic season. I think he's going to be a third down back for us. Almost every single third down he'll be on the field. I'd expect to see a lot of De'Von Achane, guys. I know Jalen Wright was a third-round pick a couple years ago, and we drafted Ollie Gordon this year. I don't care. De'Von Achane's the guy in this offense, and he's going to show it, and I expect him to catch probably about 80 passes this year. Truthfully, I'll be surprised if he doesn't get 80 receptions. He's just so good, and they just want to use him in every way that they can. So I think taking him in the first round is taking a little bit risky, but I love the pick. I would be very happy with him at pick 8. Pick number 7, we've got CeeDee Lamb going here for the Dallas Cowboys. Mainly because Dak is back, baby. Dak Prescott back on the field, which means CeeDee Lamb competing for wide receiver 1 is also back on. If Dak is back, CeeDee Lamb arguing for wide receiver 1 in the entire NFL is also back. I also think that the addition of George Pickens really takes some of the pressure off of CD, and it will shift some of the focus as well. Teams can't say, okay, yeah, they've got 63-year-old Brandon Cooks on the other side. We're not worried about that. You have to actually sort of pay attention to George Pickens, and that's just going to open it up for CeeDee Lamb, man. And you do not want to cover George Pickens one-on-one with the corner because he's going to jump over him and catch it. So now you've got a shade safety help. Now you've got less guys that try and stop CeeDee Lamb. And then you factor all that along with the fact that the Cowboys don't have a running back worth a damn. Rookie Jaden Blue is their best guy. I think he's better than Javonte Williams, who's never been that good. I don't think they're going to have much of a running game. If they do, I'd be surprised. I mean, they could because they still have really good offensive linemen, so they could. But I really think this is going to be a pass-heavy offense, and I think that just means Lamb's value is absolutely skyrocketing. So I love CeeDee Lamb in the first round here. I'm not afraid. I think he's a guy you should really think about targeting. Pick number 6, I've got the Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua here. And now if you just look at his stats last year, if you're just a box score watcher, you might be tempted to say, Nate, he only had 990 yards last year and only 76 receptions. That's not that good. How would you have him going at pick 6? Well, he did that in 11 games. Nearly 1,000 yards in 11 football games. And that pace is unbelievable. And the only reason he's not higher than number 6 for me is because they added Davante Adams. But Puka Nacua had an unbelievable rookie season while Cooper Kupp was still in the building. He was coming off of the Triple Crown not too long ago. And Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp was his favorite wide receiver. So if Puka was getting all of these targets in spite of the fact that Stafford's best friend was his receiver for all these years, imagine what he's going to do this year when he's the bona fide number 1. And Davante Adams is going to take even more pressure off him than Cooper Kupp did this past season. Davante Adams, at this point in his career, is a better wide receiver than Cooper Kupp is. So that just opens it up even more for Puka Nacua. I think he's a lock for 10 targets a game at a minimum. And I love that kind of volume in a PPR league because the dude's got fantastic hands. Sign me up for 8 catches, 75 to 100 yards a game, and a touchdown every other game, and you've got elite wide receiver production. So Puka Nacua at number 6. Number 5, I've got Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson slated for this slot here. This one is one where I'm like, ugh, do I want to be the sucker that passes on him? As I do the draft and as I go through the first 4 picks, you'll be like, okay, I get these guys over Justin Jefferson. Do I take him at 5? This is one where I really think about it. And I think that not taking him would be a mistake because there's no questioning Justin Jefferson's talent as one of, if not the best wide receiver in the NFL. But wide receiver is quarterback dependent. If you don't have good quarterback play, you won't have very good wide receiver play because quarterbacks can't get them the ball. What do we know about J.J. McCarthy as a quarterback? I don't know anything. I don't know a single thing about him. You're taking a risk. I think it's fair to be a little bit concerned of taking Jefferson early because bad quarterback play can absolutely tank a wide receiver season. That being said, last season, he was number 2 wide receiver in fantasy, just behind Jamar Chase, but by a significant amount, but still, number 2 wide receiver. And he did that with Sam Darnold, who before last year was consensus awful. Consensus turd. Not a good quarterback. And then he goes and he does what he did this past season, so can he do it with J.J. McCarthy? I mean, shit, if he could do it with Sam Darnold, why couldn't he do it with J.J. McCarthy? That's going to be my rationale when I take him, and I'm nervous about it, because if you can do this with Sam Darnold, you can sure as hell do this with J.J. McCarthy. Number 4 here, this is when it starts getting to the point where I'm excited to read the comments and see what you guys think about this. Number 4, I'm taking Bijan Robinson here. He is my 4th pick in this draft. Averaged damn near 23 fantasy points from week 6 on, scoring 14 touchdowns, and in all but one game, he had 18 touches. That is crazy. He's only 23 years old. It's his 3rd year in the offense, in an offense that was the 3rd run heaviest in the entire NFL last year. These guys just want to run the ball. They're going to continue to want to run the ball. It's what they do, and Bijan is so good. I think he's going to go number 1 often. I mean, you just look at Bijan Robinson's stats. I mean, last year with subpar quarterback play, when teams knew they're probably going to run the ball with Bijan, he put up 1,456 yards, 14 touchdowns to go along with 61 grabs and 431 yards through the air. So almost 2,000 all-purpose yards, averaging over 4.8 yards a carry to go along with 15 total touchdowns. And I think he's going to get even better. He was only 22. He's 23 years old right now. I think he could be, at the end of the season, I think these top 4 guys can all be the number 1 fantasy player in the NFL. I think all 4 of my guys that I'm about to talk about have that potential. So it's crowded at the top, man. It's crowded at the top. Number 3, I've got Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, Mr. 2K. It's got to go number 1, right? Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. This is for a PPR fantasy league. He doesn't get a ton of work in the receiving game. That is important. Last year, he only had 33 catches for 278 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't love that. I don't think that that's going to do a whole lot for me. I think that hurts his value some. Now, is he a slam dunk top 5 pick? This is the safest pick of my top 3 players. Without a question, my safest pick. If he's available at pick 3 or even pick 4, I think you jump on that because he's going to get 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns. Guarantee it. That is his floor, is that many yards and that many touchdowns. Can he go for 2K again? Absolutely. History would say it'll be hard after how many touches he had last year, but if anyone can do it, I think Barkley can do it. I think he's the bona fide best running back in the NFL, but fantasy football is not real football. That's not real football. It's different. Every yard and reception doesn't count the same as it does in a game, and Saquon just doesn't get the volume for me, but I would happily take him at pick number 3. Pick number 1, he's not the home run pick I'm looking for. And then we get to the top 2 guys, and they're very obvious. Everyone who's watching this are like, okay, these are the guys that have to be here. There's no other player that I couldn't have mentioned outside of these 2 guys. My number 2 pick that I'm taking, and again, I would happily take either of these guys at number 1 for this exercise. Number 2 is Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase. This guy is just so good, and he just so happens to play on a team that doesn't believe you actually need a defense. The Bengals' philosophy is, we'll just score more. This is an easy game, guys. This has to be the meetings in Cincinnati, especially with Jamar Stewart not showing up now and Trey Hendrickson about to walk. They have to be meeting their GM, owner, head coach, and they're just sitting there and they're going, all we got to do is score more points than the other team. Who cares how many we give up? As long as we score 1 more than them, we win the football game. It's genius. It's like no one's ever thought of this. The Bengals don't believe in stopping anybody, so their offense is going to have to perform at an elite level. And Jamar Chase, yes, I said earlier about Justin Jefferson, it's wide receiver dependent. Fortunately for Jamar Chase, he's got one of the best 3 quarterbacks in the entire NFL, and he's also got another top 15 wide receiver in the NFL on the other side, and T. Higgins. So not only is a lot of attention going to have to be paid to T. Higgins and even Mike Gesicki, who's been solid, and Chase Brown in the backfield, but Jamar Chase, if you don't double cover him, he's going to beat you. Last year, he put up over 400 fantasy points. That's unbelievable. That's the most of anybody. That's outscoring every quarterback. Every quarterback other than Lamar Jackson, I'm pretty sure. Only Lamar Jackson scored more points in fantasy football last year than wide receiver Jamar Chase. I mean, that's just insane, man. When you look at the numbers that he put up last season, 127 catches, 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns. That is crazy numbers. Those are insane numbers. He's quarterback dependent. Again, Joe Burrow is unbelievably good. Jamar Chase has been unbelievably good. He was 175 targets last year. I expect at least 150 to 160 again. I would, if I have the number one pick in most of my fantasy leagues, this is a painful debate for me because I just don't know what to do. And Jamar Chase is the king of consistency. He's been a top 5 fantasy receiver 3 of his 4 NFL seasons. That's crazy, man. And my guess is the only time he wasn't is when Joe Burrow missed significant time. I don't have the actual number again, but he's worth going number 1. He's worth going number 2 for sure. I think those are my consensus. That's my consensus number 2 or number 1 guy. To go along with my number 1 guy, PPR menace, Detroit Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Last season didn't have a single game where he scored less than 10 points. Every single time you put Jahmyr Gibbs in your lineup, he gave you at least double-digit points. I'm pretty sure no one else can say that, even quarterbacks. I don't even know. I'm sure Lamar Jackson gave you double-digit points every time too, but out of a running back that splits a good amount of carries with David Montgomery too, that's so impressive. And yeah, I know we're concerned that Ben Johnson's gone, which is a loss because he's such a brilliant offensive mind, but Jahmyr Gibbs didn't suddenly lose his talent. He didn't lose that offensive line in front of him. He didn't lose all the weapons around him. He didn't lose his quarterback, man. Last season, 2,000 all-purpose yards, 20 touchdowns. And I think he can do that again. I would not be surprised if next year when I'm doing this video, I can just copy and paste what I have written for Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh yeah, 2,000 all-purpose yards, 20 touchdowns. Sign me up for that at first overall. He's the home run. I'm taking a swing for the fences pick. He's not safe like Saquon Barkley. Jahmyr Gibbs has a split backfield, and it's a new offense, and Barkley has the consistency, and he's the all-time, he's the power back. He's their guy. Even Jamar Chase is probably the safer pick between him and Jahmyr Gibbs. But, man, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to average so many points a game. He's going to get 7 to 10 catches every single week, and he's got home run speed. He's just going to outrun you, and he's going to pick up huge chunk plays and long touchdowns, and he's just so good, guys. He's so good. At pick 1, that's my pick to try to win it all. I need a player that's going to account for a ton of points if I'm picking at 1 because I don't pick again until pick 20. I've got to nail this pick, and I think Jahmyr Gibbs gives you that chance. Picking at 1 is hard. And again, I don't have an argument if you say, I want Jamar Chase at 1. I totally get that. I think you can go back and forth, but I'm saying Jahmyr Gibbs right now, if I had pick number 1, that's my pick, man. Just because of situation and pure talent. He's just that good. So that's what I've got for you guys on my perfect first round for fantasy football this upcoming season, along with some honorable mention, guys. We will be doing some fantasy football mock drafts where we've got, 3 or 4 of us drafting it. We'll do 2 rounds. We'll do 3 rounds. However many rounds you guys want. Let us know in the comments down below what else you want to see. Do you want position-specific rankings, top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, all the positions? Do you guys want mock drafts for fantasy football? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.